Hello beadlings, welcome back. This week we're actually going to talk about PLUR packages. So before I go on to explain everything about PLUR packages, I do want to tell you a couple things. First of all, the tutorial that's going to be coming out at the end of the month is going to cover rotator cuffs. Okay, so I filmed this last month when the tutorial was going to be the rotating cuff. That tutorial is already up. The tutorial for this month is actually going to be a Kandi gas mask, which looks like this. On with the show. So let's talk about PLUR packages. So PLUR stands for Peace, Love, Unity, and Respect. It's a raver code of conduct, and I actually covered it in an earlier video. You can go here to check it out. What is a PLUR package? So a PLUR package is like a care package, but for candy. It's a way that you can trade candy and other stuff with your friends through the mail. The amount and size of the candy that you include in the PLUR package depends on the trade, and I will cover that more in a second. As for the other stuff to include in the package, my experience has always been trading PLUR packages with other ravers. So the goodies tend to be like rave themed, like glasses or fans, things like that. But you can totally trade PLUR packages with people who aren't ravers and just tailor the extra stuff to their interests. How do I find somebody to trade with? So this is a little bit of a tricky question because I am an adult, and so I have found people on the internet, made friends with them, and traded with them that way. For people who are minors, it can be a little bit trickier, and I do understand that. The places that I've had the most luck finding people to trade with have been primarily Instagram, but also Facebook. There is a group on Facebook called Candyland, and there's usually people in there who want to trade candy. You just kind of have to be part of the group, post some candy, feel it out, and see who you find, see who's willing to trade. So for Instagram, what I actually did was I made my Instagram account. I started posting pictures of the candy that I was making, and then I went and I searched in like the candy hashtag, candy kid hashtag, they have the hashtags that kind of relate to candy. And I followed people who I saw were also posting candy and started interacting with them. And eventually when I felt like, okay, we're at about the same spot in our candy making, we're at about the same skill level, I sent them a message and said, hey, do you want to trade PLUR packages? And it really was that simple. A third place that I have been reliably informed you can find people to trade with is actually Discord servers. I am very bad at Discord. My friend Mars, who you probably know as Honey Demon, has a Candy Kid Discord, and I know there's a couple of other candy Discords around. So that's also a place that you could find other people who would want to trade PLUR packages with you. Really, all you have to do is find someone you want to trade with and send them a message and ask if they're willing to trade. I have found that it is easier to find people who are willing to trade with you if you have candy clearly posted on your profile. So if you have an Instagram, make sure that you have pictures of candy that you've made posted. If you're in a Facebook group for candy, be active in the group, post what you've made. So that way people know you're a real person and you're not just like a bot or somebody trying to get free stuff. I've had the best luck trading with people who are at about the same level of skill that I am. That way the packages are pretty evenly balanced. I am going to cover this later in a lot more detail, but please make sure you are being safe. If you're trading with somebody that you don't know very well, practice good internet safety. And again, I am going to cover this in detail later. How do PLUR packages work? It's the big question. So when I get asked the most often, there are a couple different ways. So once you've got your trade buddy, you need to decide what type of PLUR package you want to do and how big you want it to be. In my experience, there's 3 basic ways that you can do a PLUR package, and I will cover those types here. So the first type of package is a themed package, and this is exactly what it sounds like. You decide on a theme. It can be a TV show, it can be a comic book, Marvel, Danganronpa, Pokemon, Unis Honest, frogs, gay stuff. Like, it's just, you pick a theme and everything in the package, all of the candy pieces, all of the goodies, they're all based around that theme. The second kind of package is a random package, and that's exactly what it sounds like. There's no specific theme, you're just making stuff you think they're gonna like. And type 3 is a custom PLUR package. This is my favorite. This is the one that most of my PLUR packages have been custom PLUR packages. This is where you make a PLUR package that is exactly tailored to what the other person wants. You can go as specific as tell me exactly the type of cuff you want, with what color beads, how big it is, really, really specific. Or it can be a little bit more general, like, what's your favorite Pokemon? What's your favorite TV show? Okay, I'm going to make you something based on that. No matter which type of package you're doing, you always want to discuss with your buddy how big the package is going to be. How many cuffs, how many necklaces. You could be a little bit more general and say, I'm going to send you 3 big pieces and 6 small pieces, where a big piece is, you know, something like this. And a small piece is something like this. If you're planning to include a lot of extra goodies, you probably do also want to talk about cost. So like, you know, I had somebody send me these glasses in a PLUR package. They're like $20 glasses. And I would feel super guilty if I just sent back a couple of little like small toys and like, you know, ring pops. So you do also want to discuss like, hey, I want to send you some more expensive things, or hey, I can only afford to send you like little things. Is that okay? And that way there's no surprises on either end. It is kind of a lot like Secret Santa, if you've ever done a Secret Santa or other type of like secret gift exchange. Very similar type of thing where the person doesn't necessarily know exactly what they're getting, but you want to make sure that you're on the same page. You do also definitely want to make sure that you get each other's candy sizes so that, you know, your cuff fits, right? So like this cuff is 36 beads around and it fits right about here on my arm. You want to measure your arm either in inches or in beads. Make sure you give that measurement to your trading buddy and make sure that you also get their measurement if you're going to be making them any cuffs. I do have a little like PLUR package survey that I used to use when I was doing a ton of PLUR packages. I will drop it in the comments and like pin it so that you can use it, but it just kind of goes over like name, shipping address, likes, dislikes, and gives you a pretty good like broad idea of what they like and what kind of candy you should make them. Another thing that you may want to bring up is like if there is a certain perler that you already have. A lot of perler patterns are really common, and you know, everybody uses the same mushroom perler, everybody does the same like subtronics perler, and so if you already have it, like you should definitely tell your person, hey, I already have this one, like don't do this one. I have like 6 of the same perler in my closet right now because when I first started trading packages, I didn't realize that I had to specify that or should specify that. And they're great. It's like a whole rainbow of the same perler, but I don't need it, you know? What actually goes in the package though? So I didn't know quite how to cover this in how do you do a PLUR package, but I did want to actually go into more detail on like what specific things can go into a PLUR package besides just like, you know, cuffs and perler necklaces. The simple answer is whatever you want, but I know that's not actually helpful. So what I'm going to do is show you some of the things that I've gotten in PLUR packages before. So here's an example PLUR package. This one is unicorn themed. I would start with a couple of larger cuffs. And for this package, I would also do a smaller cuff. If I had a unicorn themed perler, I would put it in at this point, but I don't. So we're going to do a small cuff. And then we're also going to do some candy singles. You can see here, this is about 6 singles, I think. Counting is hard. Then we've got some toys. Little unicorn toys, smaller ones that are good for putting on other candy cuffs so the person that's getting the package can reuse them. Body glitter and face gems are also a good favorite for PLUR packages. Chapstick, face mask, and scrunchies. Those all come in handy at a rave and are always going to be a good part of a PLUR package. I also like to include little hand fans. I get these ones from Dollar Tree and they come in handy at a rave. And of course, actual candy. This is by no means everything that can go in a PLUR package, but it does give you an idea of where to start. How do I ship my PLUR package? So I live in America, I live in the US. This advice specifically relates to shipping within the continental United States. I have found that using USPS like prepaid mailers, specifically like the big envelopes, is the cheapest way to do it because they don't care about how heavy your package is. It just has to all fit in the envelope, and it's like $8. It'll ship anywhere in the US for $8. That is the best bang for your buck on PLUR packages, especially if you're doing like big pieces. If you're starting to ship internationally, it does get pricey. Your minimum shipping is going to be like $15 no matter where you're shipping it, and it's probably going to be closer to like $20, $30, even like to Canada. It's insane. So do keep that in mind when you're setting up trades, that it is going to be expensive to ship if you're setting it up for like an international trade. I also started hoarding like bubble wrap and old like Amazon boxes, especially the smaller like, foot by foot ones, so that I could just like reuse materials and not have to go like buy boxes all the time. Advice. So this isn't actually like a question, but this is the section of the video where I give you some advice and some warnings from my experience and also from some of my friends' experience. First of all, you have to know sometimes people will ghost you. This is not everybody. Definitely not everybody, but it is always a risk. And there are some things that you can do that will minimize that risk as much as possible if you're trading with somebody that you don't already know. In an ideal world, the people that you trade with are also people that you spend time getting to know beforehand. That way you get kind of a judge of their character, if you can trust them or not. And like I said, that is like the ideal world. I do know that that's not always the real world. For those times that you really want to trade with somebody that you've just met, and you still like really want to do that PLUR package, here are some things to look for. I have found that it is usually less risky to trade with somebody if, one, they have Kandi posted on their social media, especially if they've been posting Kandi regularly or for like a long period of time. That shows you that they are a Kandi kid, they really do make candy, and it gives you kind of an indication of where their skill level's at. Two, if they show on their social media that they've been doing PLUR package trades in the past, that's a really good indicator that they really are here to trade PLUR packages and they're not just trying to scam you. You can check their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media you know them on. If they've got PLUR packages posted or they posted them in the past, that's a really good indication. Of course, there are people who like just got into Kandi, don't have anything posted yet. That's totally fine and totally valid, but know that you are taking a risk by trading with somebody who doesn't have any Kandi posted and doesn't have any indication of whether or not they really are in it to trade. Another way that you can minimize risk is by waiting to ship your package until they're ready to ship their package and making sure that you can both go ship on the same day. That way you can trade tracking information at about the same time, and you know for sure that each other's packages have shipped. I also know that a lot of people who have been asking me about how to do PLUR packages are newer to Kandi, and maybe you've had some trouble getting other Kandi kids to agree to trade packages with you. I will say that if you're trying to trade with somebody who has a bunch of Kandi posted in their profile and does PLUR package trades, offering to ship your package first is a really good way to get them to trust you and agree to trade with you where they otherwise might not be willing to take that risk because they don't know you. I have also had it happen in the past that somebody I was trading with ran into hardship, ran into trouble, and they were unable to complete their package in time, or there was a huge lag on sending it because they had to get the money to ship. Life happens, and compassion is important. PLUR is a really important part of PLUR packages. So if your buddy doesn't send their package, but they're staying in touch with you, or if you can't send your package, but you're trying and you're working towards it, communication is really important. And as long as you're keeping in touch and they're keeping in touch, I have always found that, the PLUR package does get there in the end. It's not super common, but it is something to also be aware of and keep in mind. So my second piece of advice is something that I briefly touched on earlier. If you are trading information with strangers on the internet, be careful about who you are giving what information to. The same advice applies here. If you can spend time getting to know somebody before trading with them, do so. If you have a PO box or another shipping address that is not tied to your home address or like a place that you can be found, definitely use that instead. And that that does minimize a lot of the risk. But just if you're going to give out personal information to somebody, take every precaution that you can to make sure that they are trustworthy before you give them that information. If you are a minor, make sure that you get permission before initiating any trades. If you're a minor, you really should only be trading with other minors. You should not be trading with adults. Adults should not be trading with you. This is really just basic internet safety, and I know that it may sound stupid and it may sound like really lame, but there are people out there who do not have the best intentions, and there is a whole generation of millennials who we all learned this lesson the hard way. Just be very cautious and take care of yourself. Final question. This isn't a question, but that last bit was really serious, and I would rather end on like a happier note. And that note is my Kandi wall. Almost every single piece on this wall was a trade, and specifically a PLUR package trade. I got into Kandi in December of 2019, and we stopped being able to trade in person several months later. So all of my trading basically has been through the mail. I got better at Kandi because I was doing PLUR package trades. I made friends that I am still friends with. I visited one of my internet friends that I met from doing a PLUR package trade, and it was amazing. The Kandi community is super welcoming. It is super big, and we want you to be part of it. It just takes a little bit of risk. I think that pretty much covers it on PLUR packages. So Hubert, my child, my boy, is here to help me do the outro. Say hello, Hubert.
Hello, Hubert.
Thank you. I hope that I answered all of your questions about PLUR packages. I hope that this helped you clarify anything you were confused about, and I hope that some of you end up trading PLUR packages in the near future. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see in any future videos from me. I'm going to keep doing tutorials, I'm going to keep answering your questions, and I'm going to keep being a Kandi kid. Nobody can stop me. I'd like to see them try. Like I have to say, like I'm contractually obligated by the YouTube gods to say, please like and subscribe or Hubert will cry. Big thank you to my patrons. I love you all dearly. Thank you for supporting me and the channel and my dream. Hubert also says thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I hope y'all have a good week. PLUR!